Welcome to the Ground Crew episode 2. Hopefully, this episode will be a little less choppy. The first one was kind of a test run, but we're back here. We got Big Chungus Brian here,
Hello, hello.
and I am Drew. And so, the first thing that we were going to cover tonight that we totally forgot to cover last time was the origin of the Ground Crew name. Um,
Yeah, we kind of told them the stories of our names that they don't even fucking know, like Flavor Drops and Doodle.
yeah,
I don't
and
think
then we
anybody
totally
who's listening to
glossed
this
over
knows
the
us by that
name.
name. Yeah.
And then everybody that wanted to know what the ground crew was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to wait until next time. So
Find out next episode.
it's like a Dragon Ball Z episode, like next time on Dragon Ball's Pay. Um,
20 episodes from now, we'll finally tell you.
yeah.
Wanted to tease you with that.
Nah, but we'll tell you right now. The
Yeah.
short story is that we met at FedEx Ground.
Yeah, that's where we both
We
work.
were. I think I was just standing doing like the work conditioning thing, and I saw you were wearing some band shirt that I recognized, and I was like, "Oh, that's a pretty cool shirt." And he's like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "Have you listen to this band?" You're like, "Oh my god, I've listened to this band." We kind of just hit it off.
I think Ice Nine Kills was what really cemented the bond.
Thanks, Spencer.
Spencer, you my boy,
Don't ever change, my man. Um,
right?
but yeah, we've been friends ever since. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I would. I mean, the world's pretty fucking big, dude. But
Wow, thanks,
by
Dick.
trading it for the world, I'd get you back. So
All right, fine.
the
I'll accept that answer. No homo. But
fact that you had to say that makes me
yeah,
worry.
yeah, right. We just kind of wanted to clear that one up real quick. Make sure everybody kind of knew the origin of the ground crew name, FedEx Ground Gang. Um,
Don't say that. Workplace violence.
how about you introduce the next topic because it's one that I'm kind of interested to talk about.
Okay, so months back, I came across this creepy phenomenon. It was a picture called Momo. It's this really disjointed looking fucking face with bulging eyes, small nose, and small mouth. And people thought there was actual story behind it, like these urban legends tend to have. Creepy pastas blew up around it. And saw a video by a YouTuber who explained it as, oh yeah, no, this is an art student's project or something like that. Pretty much it's a sculpture, but everyone's shitting their pants over right now. It's called Momo. If you haven't seen it, we haven't had the capabilities set up of showing pictures on here yet, so bear with us. Just do yourself a favor and go into Google, like any person who's not fucking lazy can do, and just look it up.
Well,
That's the
yeah,
gist of it.
yeah. But do you know like the kind of bigger story behind it that's coming out?
They're actually making a backstory, like
No, it's not really a backstory. It's just that like this Momo challenge, they said basically YouTube's kids channels, like people were like taking the videos from like these YouTube's kids channels and like putting like Momo into them and telling them to like kill their parents and shit. And
what
like
the fuck? I
but
haven't
it's
heard that.
but the really weird thing is nobody has proof of this and it's all a hoax.
I
Like
see.
it is confirmed that this never really happened. It's just some people started spreading it on Reddit. It spread to Twitter. It spread to Instagram. It spread to Facebook where all the 30, 40, 50-year-old moms picked it up. And then it just exploded. But the truth of the matter is, it never happened.
So somebody was pretty much just fear mongering to fuck with
Yes,
people.
just to fuck with people.
That's actually pretty great. Props to you.
Yeah, props to you for pulling off a successful heist, my dude, whoever you are. And if you listen to the ground crew, which what are you doing with your life if you do?
That's rock bottom for you, man. Just
We're
you hit
really
your
not
peak.
selling this podcast highly, are we?
You hit your peak with the Momo challenge hoax. Now you're at rock bottom listening to us, but you know what? We love you just the same.
Yeah, right. But
And
yeah, I was
thanks, I
so
guess.
yeah, thanks. I was so confused like when I heard all these people, all these big YouTubers coming out and saying like, "Well, isn't it really weird that there's no video proof that this whole Momo thing exists?" And then like it never nobody could ever produce proof because it just wasn't real, which is I mean, like you said, props to that guy, honestly. Honestly, props.
It takes quite a bit to stir up, you know,
To
the
stir up the
media.
whole internet. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, news channels were reporting on it.
that's wild.
Yeah, it is. It's stupid wild. Um, kind of a short topic, but it's a really interesting one because these new internet trends kind of jump up. Like, every couple weeks we see something new that people get outraged over. It's just the way the internet works now. It's the meme economy.
And it just goes to show you just how easily things can blow up just with a little bit of networking. You can convince so many people that certain things exist or are a certain way. It's I don't know. That's just what we're heading towards.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to feel about the future, but I mean, I remember when memes used to stay around for months, and now they just kind of die really quickly.
Oh yeah,
You're
dude. Like
lucky.
Big
You're lucky
Chungus
to
is
get a
already
week out
dead.
of a good meme.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Big Chungus.
Rest in peace, Big Chungus. Rest in peace, Harambe. Rest in peace, my man Steve Irwin.
Damn, you're really digging deep for that one.
I know, man.
Just like the stingray dug deep in his heart.
Oh man, people
You
are
know
gonna
I
be
had to
after
do it
you
to
like they're
him.
after PETA now. They're gonna shut down the
Oh,
ground crew.
ban Brian.
Hashtag ban Brian.
You've been canceled.
Can we get that? Can we get that trending?
I mean, you know how to do it.
I'll just contact the dude who did the Momo thing. He'll get it trending.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
so next topic. I want you to start this one off because there's only a couple of times that this has ever happened to me. What's the drunkest you have ever been?
oh, dude. Oh man, that is a really, really tough one. There maybe about 4 or 5 times in my life that I'd say might tie for that, but in recent memory, probably like maybe in November or so, I was partying with my buddy Derek. We had gone bar hopping throughout the night. You know, I hadn't seen him in a long time, so I had had like maybe about 5 or 6 fucking craft beers at the first bar we went to, and a shot of Bushmills.
Fancy motherfucker.
Bushmills is not fancy. It's
I'm
cheaper
just
than
saying the
JMO.
craft beers.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you know me.
Yeah, I
But
know you.
so then we went to the next bar, had a few libations there. I was feeling really
Ooh, good
fucking.
word, libations.
Thank you. I don't. I try not to speak monosyllabically, but yeah, I had about like 4 or 5 beers there. We went back to his place and played some Spyro Remastered. Had another couple beers there, maybe 4 or 5 shots of Jägermeister. Then went back to the bar. At this point, I was fucking plastered, and he offered to buy me some beers because I was low on funds. You know, I was desperate because I was drinking Bud Light that he paid for me
Yeah.
for.
Little known
Oh
fact about
fuck.
Brian, he will drink IPAs all day, and if he can't find an IPA, he'll drink Miller Lite, but that's about it, right?
I mean, I don't know. There's some cheaper beers that I enjoy to an extent. Like hell, I even fuck with PBR sometimes. Sometimes, but I mean, I like craft beers. Not always IPAs, but those are my preference. Yeah. Anyways, back to the story before it runs on too long. I I was so fucking shit faced that I had to have my parents come get me, which is really embarrassing at the age of 24. Really fucking embarrassing. And apparently I was just blathering on about all the events of my life to my mom and just making a fucking ass of myself. I got on RuneScape, was talking to my clanmates, just getting really sappy and like, "Oh, I appreciate you guys so much."
Oh God, you got to
Being
that point.
being really maudlin about shit. So, woke up the next day, barely remembered half of that shit, but I was sick for like 3 fucking days. Like I had to call off work that day, which I really regret because I try not to do that, but I had the ass pisses and I was puking bile. Not that anybody needed to know that, but it was awful. I felt like death for a good 2 days there.
All right, the drunkest I've ever been. Uh, I've only been drunk a handful of times in my life. I can actually safely say that I have only been like to the point where like I've been inebriated to a point where I can't drive a couple of times in my life.
Very
Um,
fortunate.
yeah, but the most memorable one was the 4th of July. I was still working at Sean's Irish Tavern, and we had a big kitchen and staff party at my manager, then manager Andrew V's house. And right out the bat, we were drinking beer at like 2 in the afternoon. And then I was drinking until like 8 o'clock, like nonstop. The only thing in my hand was a beer. I had probably 12 beers in me, close to 12, and I was shit faced. And so I cooled it for a little bit. I stumbled down to the park where we watched the fireworks. They had like an amateur fireworks display. And then we came back. Some of the guys went out to like smoke, and we all started pounding beers again because V, we just called him V. He walks out of the house while we're all sitting outside. Some of us are smoking, some of us are just chilling. And he was like, "Boys, there's a problem." And we were like, "Oh God, what's wrong?" Because his wife was pregnant at the time, so we didn't know, like, like, "Oh shit, is something wrong?" And he was like, "There's still liquor in the house, and that's a problem."
Oh shit.
So between about 7 of us, we killed a bottle of JMO and a bottle of Firefly, which Firefly is like sweet tea vodka.
Oh, never heard of it, but that
It's
sounds
really
good.
good. It's good with lemonade. So I
Yeah.
killed that, and I was fucked up. I don't remember going to sleep in his guest room that night. I don't remember going to sleep clothed next to my kitchen friend Beans. I don't remember falling asleep next to him. Apparently, we spooned. I don't think it happened, but everybody's like, "You spooned with Beans, bro." And thank God I didn't have to work the next day, but V had to go in at like 10 in the morning.
Dude, that fucking sucks.
Oh, I felt so bad for him, dude. I've never had a hangover though.
Oh, you were fortunate
I
for
am one of
about
those
four
fortunate souls that have never had a hangover.
for
Um,
about 4 or 5 years. Every single time I would drink, I would get hangovers from fucking hell. I just wanted to die.
yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I was thoroughly plastered at that point. Um, and
Well, you,
I can never get a hangover. Like I had a headache when I went to sleep. That is the one thing I do remember. I had a splitting headache when I went to sleep because I was coming down from all the alcohol.
well,
Um,
you saw how bad I got from the fucking from that Jim Beam apple at your uncle's place in North Carolina.
oh, dude.
The next day, I was fucking dead.
Yeah. That was a Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Saturday. And then we
Yeah,
left,
dude.
and then so we had Sunday to like recuperate. We didn't, but but Monday we drove home. That sucks from North Carolina.
I mean, it was a pretty drive though.
It was a nice drive, yeah. The weather was way better by the time we got back up here too.
Oh yeah, man. Leaving, I think it was Wednesday, where it was minus 40
No, it
degrees.
was Thursday. It was negative 13
Oh
without the
yeah,
wind chill when we
but
left.
with wind chills minus 40.
It was like
Yeah,
minus 40. It was terrible.
I'm just glad we got down south.
Yeah, for real. Before we get too off track, we did that a lot last time. Um,
Yeah.
Next topic for the night.
All right, I'll
How?
introduce this
Oh,
one.
you introduce it, yeah.
So, we both have kind of differing tastes in music that have a lot of overlaps and similarities. That's one of the things that bonded us as friends in the first place. But why don't you start off and tell us the origins of your music taste and how it got to the point where it's at?
Well, I mean, I think it'd be a good place to start if I told you what I didn't like what music I didn't like.
Okay.
I don't like new country, the new like bro country. Don't like it at all.
Yeah, it's
Um,
trash. It's pop music with a
Despite
twang.
my whole family liking it, I do not like Christian rock. Um,
I mean, can't blame you there.
yeah, and other than that, like just monotonous pop music, I just really can't do it. But my music taste is kind of leaning more towards the heavier rock side, I guess. Favorite band of all time, probably A Day to Remember. Uh,
Yeah, they were pretty good, man. I loved them
Followed,
back in the day.
yeah, followed closely by Rush. That is the one similarity I share with my father. Is that me and him love Rush. I saw Rush live. That was my first concert ever when I was 13 years old. It was my dad's 13th time seeing Rush. It was my 13th birthday present, and it fell on the 13th.
Wow.
Yeah, it was meant to be, I guess. Um,
Those are wonderful coincidences.
that was a really wonderful coincidence. How I kind of got it though, I think it's because I kind of stemmed earlier from classic rock like Rush and stuff like that. The first like kind of heavier. I know it's funny to say heavier because there's so much shit out there now that's so much heavier than this, but like the first heavier kind of album I listened to was on my way to my Pee Wee baseball games. My dad would play The Young and the Hopeless by Good Charlotte.
Oh, no way.
It was either my dad or one of my like friends' dads was playing The Young and the Hopeless by Good Charlotte, and I was like, this shit bops.
I can just picture young Drew sitting in the back.
Yeah, don't want to be just like you.
Oh no,
Oh no, yeah. But
I
yeah,
can't
that's
shit
I
on
think
them.
that's kind of where it
Oh,
stemmed from. It stemmed from like the classic rock, and then I kind of like got into heavier and heavier stuff. Um, I remember my friend from a long time ago. I don't talk to her anymore. Her name is Alina. Uh, she got me into Bullet for My Valentine, and then she tried to get me to do Attack Attack at the time because this was 2000 like 10. So I mean, Attack Attack was huge,
oh yeah.
and she tried to get me into Attack Attack. I'm like, it's too heavy for me, and now I'm just like, oh, crabcore, bro.
Fucking singing that shit at work all the time.
You never said.
Oh no, please don't.
I won't. I won't do anymore. But what about you, man? Because I know, because when we went down to North Carolina, you had some really like, interesting taste in music. Like it wasn't bad. I liked everything that you put on in the car, but it was kind of varying.
Yeah. So I would definitely describe my taste in music as eclectic in comparison to a lot of my friends, just because I can't really settle on one genre for too long. I used to. I used to obsess over one style of music for months on end before moving on to the next thing. But well, okay. So the short of it is, I grew up. My dad like would show me a lot of bands from the '60s. Obviously the Beatles being the biggest one, then the Who, the Kinks, the Rolling Stones, the Zombies. A lot of stuff like that. Mostly,
God, I
British
wish I
invasion
had a
sort of deal.
cool dad. I'm kidding. My dad's super cool. I love my dad. Love you, dad. He
Hell yeah.
listens. So
So he showed me a lot of that stuff, and then started branching out to other music from the '60s, like folk music and old country. And the biggest thing that changed a lot of my perspective on music though was when he introduced me to a lot of stuff from the '70s, namely punk bands like the Ramones and the Sex Pistols. Like that really opened up a whole new door for me in terms of music and just what can be done with it. It got to the point where like I really was into a lot of punk rock back then. Just the generic. I wouldn't even say generic, just the ones that a lot of people would know, like the Buzzcocks, the Sex Pistols, the Ramones, the Dead Boys, things like that. But so when I was at Blockbuster at the age of I think 11 or so, maybe close to 12, I saw that they had a documentary called American Hardcore, and it was about hardcore punk, which I had never been exposed to before. It was far more aggressive than what I had listened to prior, and I thought it looked interesting, so we rented it and I watched it, and it exposed me to a lot of bands like Minor Threat, Black Flag, Bad Brains, Circle Jerks, things like that. And I was just blown away, absolutely blown away by the raw aggression, the emotion in it, and just the speed, the fast paced, bombastic drumming, and really sonic, soaring guitars that chugged
yeah,
really fast. And oh man, my entire world was changed after that day. So my taste in music slowly started getting heavier and heavier. I eventually stumbled across metalcore when I was introduced to the first two albums by Avenged Sevenfold. I'm not really into Avenged Sevenfold much anymore. Can't really
nor am I.
say it. I
I,
can't
I
really
don't
say I
knock
care
people
much
who
for them.
like it. It's
Right.
not my thing.
But their first two albums, though, especially their second, Waking the Fallen, it was a game changer for me. That's when I realized I actually liked some metal because before that I detested it. And it was around that time that I also started getting into Rage Against the Machine, which prior to that I didn't really care for much. I wouldn't say Rage Against the Machine is hip hop, but it
It's
introduced me to
it's a
rap
blend.
vocals.
It's definitely a
Yeah,
blend. And
exactly.
I think I'm gonna go off topic for like just a quick second here.
Okay.
I think people that are into like mainstream music don't understand the political and messages that these types of music send.
Oh, for
You know what
sure.
I mean? Like Rage Against the Machine is very blunt and in your face about what they like to portray. And
Oh yeah.
And I think anybody who hasn't really given it a try should at least give it a try because you never know if you're gonna like it or not.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, Rage Against the Machine, I would say no two songs sound the exact same. There's always some elements to it that are completely original and fresh and just kind of mind bending, especially Tom Morello's guitar work or Zach
Oh
De La
yeah,
Rocha's lyrics. Not only his lyrics, but his vocals too. They just have such anger for the state of things in the world and just how much they care about wanting to make a change. That really struck a chord with me at a young age.
for sure.
And so, you know, being introduced to that acclimated me towards finding a lot of hip hop artists that I actually really enjoyed, and it kind of grew from there, metalcore and hip hop, and eventually got to the point where I didn't really listen to much metalcore anymore by the time I was like age 18 or so. But I used to listen to a lot of bands that I would cringe at now, like Attack Attack or Asking Alexandria. Yeah.
There are a few bands that I am ashamed that I bopped to when I was younger.
Oh yeah, same. But one of the ones that I found early on, like really early on, that I always fucking loved and will always love is Ice Nine Kills. They just bring so much interesting and new content to the table that I don't think there's another band quite like them. I mean, sure, they're similar bands in terms of the genre itself, but they're just really original, and I love everything about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to see Ice Nine Kills again. I saw them in December, early December, of
Will it
last
be your
year.
second time?
It will be my second time seeing Ice Nine Kills, and I'm still excited for it because when I saw them, it was a whole new world
Oh,
for me.
I I've seen them 3 times prior, and I will have to say every single time I saw them, their stage presence, their tightness in terms of, playing everything like it sounds in the studio, and just the raw energy. They're fucking on point, man.
Yeah,
One of the only
I
other bands
think
I could compare them to in terms of just their presence is Foxy Shazam, but that's a whole other
yeah, it's
whole
a whole
other
other
topic.
genre too.
Yeah, a whole other can of worms, honestly.
Yeah, I think Ice Nine Kills being called Theatricore is a really good name for it
Oh, absolutely.
because
So
they bring such a theatric presence to it, you know.
yeah, for sure. So back to the last part of the story. So after the age of 18, I started veering off to like more experimental, like lo-fi sort of deals. Not just in terms of like electronic music, but also just really indie hipster shit. Some of it is still really good that I like, but people recording to cassettes and everything, I'd find it on Reddit and Bandcamp, and it just really got me interested even more in underground music. And
Yeah,
to this day, sorry, go on.
you're. I was just gonna say you're way more into the underground stuff than I am. I am not super into it. I just find something I like and I listen to it.
Yeah, same honestly, but I guess dig a little deeper
Yeah,
to
like you're
find
the
the stuff
kind of
that's not
person
as
that
good.
would like search for music, you know.
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
kind
for
of person
sure.
that's like, if it's right in front of me, I'll listen to it, and if I like it, I like it.
I mean, I've only like listed a very minor fraction of a lot of the genres I enjoy. Just the main ones that I was able to branch off from that that influenced my taste more than any of the others. At this point, I don't really listen to much heavy music. Just I don't know. I prefer more relaxed, chill stuff, but I can still get down
I can still get down to. I'm getting more into like I just getting out of this phase of just heavy stuff. I used to
for
listen to
sure.
heavy stuff like every day. I still do, like on occasion. Like most days, I'm listening to either like a mix between like Beartooth, Avenged Sevenfold, um, Ice Nine Kills, Rise Against, of Mice and Men, New of Mice and Men, which by the way isn't that bad. You know,
Really?
stuff like that. Yeah, I like the New of Mice and Men.
Does it not have Austin Carlisle?
It does not have Austin Carlisle. I can't
I think I
remember.
might enjoy it then.
I can't remember. I saw him at Incarceration in last July, and they rocked the house.
Hell yeah. I never could get into Austin Carlisle. Nothing against him as a person. I don't personally know him or anything like that, so I can't really judge his character, but
Nah, not really. Yeah, exactly.
it, what what he did in performing, his vocals and just his presence, it wasn't for me. It didn't resonate the way I wanted it to, but
Yeah, for sure. So, new topic. You want to introduce it?
yeah. Sure. So, apparently Sony has decided that from now on with PlayStation Plus, you're not going to get free PS3 or Vita titles anymore like they had been doing for years. And it kind of comes as a disappointment to me, even though I scarcely play my PlayStation 3 anymore because a lot of the games that I have on it that I really enjoyed, I got through those PlayStation Plus promotions where, they'd release full games, like at least one
For
every
free.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
for free.
I see both sides of it. I see how it kind of sucks for the people that still enjoy their PS3 games and still enjoy their
But
Vita.
it's a dead console at this point.
That's what I was gonna say. You know, it's getting to that point where the PlayStation 3 released in 2006. It's
Yeah.
13 years old now. It's time for it to be on the way out. And if it wasn't gonna happen now, it was gonna happen a little bit further down the road, in my opinion. It's just I think Sony's playing the right move. They can focus more of their money towards these companies that will release better games for free.
Oh, for sure.
The two free games of the month for March, by the way, if you own a PlayStation 4 and have the PlayStation Plus subscription, are
Modern Warfare Remastered.
yes, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered and
I'm
a game
excited for
called The
that one.
Witness, which I heard is a really, really in depth and really cool puzzle game. And I
Oh
actually
yeah,
will
no,
be
I've heard
checking
about
that one
that.
out. But it was time for it to go. The PS3,
Oh yeah.
while it was a great console and brought me a lot of friendships and brought me a lot closer to my friends, and kind of I'm not like trying to get sappy over a console, but it kind of molded me into the person online that I am today.
Same.
Um, it's time for it to go. It's time to say goodbye. You know,
It
stop
had a
beating
long
a dead
run.
horse. You know,
I mean, 13 years, and imagine what it was capable of for 13 years ago. That was impressive. I mean, but
even
it's
though when it
time to move
released,
on.
it was stupid expensive.
Oh yeah, $600. Fuck
Yeah, that
that.
that was stupid on Sony's part. And the Xbox 360 was already released for cheaper. It was a dumb move.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you know, it's sad to see it go, but it's time.
I'm just glad we had the ability to enjoy that for the years that we
Yeah.
had. So,
I
you know
still
what?
can't believe all these years playing on PS3 and there was no party chat.
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that?
I think it was kind of a good and a bad thing. Like it was a bad thing in the sense that like the party chat quality has always been better. It's always been a selling point for Xbox. So of
Oh
course
yeah.
they were going to put it on the PS4. But it kind of connected you with all the other players in this game,
Yeah,
you
like you
know?
actually had to directly talk to them in game instead of forming a party and just ignoring them on voice chat.
Yeah, cuz that's what
Or the
everybody
ones
does
in game, that
nowadays.
is.
I barely meet
Yeah,
anybody
I'm
that plays
guilty
with a
of it.
mic in game chat anymore.
I'm guilty of,
Well,
just sticking a
I play a
party.
lot of Apex Legends as of late, and actually a lot of people use their mic, and it actually sounds like the VoIP quality, the voiceover quality is so bad in Apex Legends, dude. It's
So
terrible. It's like
I th-
it's like 2007 Xbox Live all over again.
I think this is a really good transition point since you brought up Apex Legends. There's been a lot of buzz around Apex Legends, and a lot of people are speculating that it's pretty much the next big game to kill Fortnite. You know, Fort
Um,
Fortnite is not supposedly going to hold a candle to it.
well,
What's your opinions on that?
I have very strong opinions on Fortnite. I think it's a fun game. I it's just not for me.
Same.
It's one of those games that just all my friends were playing it and I just couldn't get into it.
The biggest thing that sets me back is the whole building element. I don't want to have to build a fucking tower just to survive and
I
throw
saw
it
a
up in
thing that was
a
like,
split
"What
second.
makes
Oh,
y'all think Apex Legends is gonna beat Fortnite?" It was like, "Cause when I shoot somebody, they don't turn into an eight-story building."
exactly. Yeah, that's the only thing that I really didn't like about Fortnite. Everything else about it I thought was pretty tight, except sometimes the shooting would just be a little inaccurate, even if you're, on point with
I
it.
mean,
I
for
get that.
sure, there's a lot of
I
kinks to
get
work
that.
out.
Well, I think that was an intentional feature. Like, the aiming almost had like an RNG in terms of where it would
Oh, you're
end
talking
up.
about Fortnite. I thought you were talking about Apex.
Yeah. Oh, no, no, Fortnite.
Ah,
I
yeah.
haven't played Apex yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No, but I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. It looks fucking intense, man.
Oh, yeah. It's super fun. It works directly with my play style. I'm a very aggressive player. I like to push
Same.
a lot of engagements, and it plays very well, and it rewards people who are very good with snap aiming and being able to take these fights really quickly. So that's why I think I have more wins in that game than I have any BR, and it's only been out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
And I think one of the things I would like about that a lot is in other in other battle royale games, I hate the fact that even if you didn't spend money on it, like you get invested into the game, and there are people who just hide during the fucking during the round, just sit at one spot as long as they can and hide instead of pushing engagements. Why would you sit there, invest time into a game to just camp out the entire time? Don't you want the action? Don't you want to get right
Yeah,
there in the
yeah,
forefront of it
I
all?
I can never understand campers. I can't understand it. Um, like the good thing about Apex Legends is the circle moves quite fast. The map is suited just for the amount of players that are in it. Um, you can tell that Respawn has been working on this game for quite some time, and it really pays off. Um,
It looks like a really solid game that needs just a little bit more polish, but
yeah,
at this
that
point, it's a finished game. I
it's a
mean,
finished game. The only couple gripes I have with it, some of the guns are broken good, some of the guns are broken bad. Um,
yeah, but patches. I mean,
Patches
that's
like there's a revolver, if people who haven't played Apex don't know, called the Wingman. It's like a big Magnum revolver gun that literally people are refusing to use it now when they live stream and stuff because it's such an easy winning gun. Like it breaks the game almost. So they know about it though. EA and Respawn know about the Wingman, and they're getting rid of how powerful it is so far. Um, for a free game though, it's fucking crazy.
oh yeah. Speaking of free games, another one that you and I both really enjoy. Obviously, you've put a lot more time into it, but as of late, I've really gotten into it the last few months. Brawlhalla,
Yeah.
fantastic fucking game.
Um, I think the best way to describe Brawlhalla and to sell it, even though it's free, is do you not have a Switch? Do you want to play Smash? Do you want to play kind of, in my opinion, a little bit more polished version of Smash? Um,
Brawlhalla.
Brawlhalla. I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for saying that Smash isn't polished, but I never got into Smash because the movement in that game is very clunky.
I I would say it definitely is a bit clunky. I mean, I guess that's one of the allures to the people who like Smash. Actually
It's
care
got a
for a few of
very,
the
very,
titles quite a bit.
very steep learning curve.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of the series, but for me, Brawlhalla is just easier to pick up and get into. It's very
Yeah,
simple mechanics, but you can chain them together in ways that make the game a lot more complex.
yeah. That's why a lot of people don't play Brawlhalla, is because I know a lot of people that like. I talked to some people, a couple of my friends, and they're like, "Oh, I tried that game, but like everybody was just trashing on me," and I'm like, "Well, that's kind of fighting games in general. Is
Yeah, you got
just
to get shit on
you got to
first.
get shit on
Fucking
for
learn how to not
hours and
get shit on
hours and
you.
hours."
Yeah, then you learn how to dodge the shit particles.
Yeah, and the Brawlhalla learning curve is there. It's definitely. I'm kind of in the middle of it right now. I'm literally in the middle of the elo climb. Like my ranked elo is like in the middle of every player. I'm in like the 50-50 range.
Yeah, I'm still a little apprehensive about starting ranked until I've gotten over certain skill curves. You know what I mean? Over
Honestly,
hurdles and skill
it's
curves.
since it's a free game, I stopped taking ranks seriously.
Yeah,
Like who cares about a rank? There's no I mean there's incentives for it, but all the incentives are based on the amount of times you win and the amount of time you play.
yeah.
It's not
I
based
mean,
on your rank.
what I like about its free to play system is that other than buying the season pass to unlock all the champions, which it's kind of pointless if you play the game enough, the only other microtransactions they have are for skins, which literally do not affect the gameplay whatsoever. So if you want to
Yeah.
give them money, it's only going to be cosmetic. It's not
And it
pay to win for the
and
most part.
the studio that makes it Blue Mammoth Games is very good at what they do in creating skins and creating custom things that make you want to buy them to support them so they can keep running and keep going where they're going. I
They
know
drop a lot of content often too.
they do. They release a lot of updates. I know Ubisoft has acquired them.
Oh, no shit.
That's why they released Rayman into the game.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah, Ubisoft had acquired them. Blue Mammoth Games is now Ubisoft Studio. I know it's kind of old news for them, but congratulations to Blue Mammoth Games.
Yeah,
Um,
as long as Ubisoft doesn't make them put out new titles that are completely unfinished and buggy as hell.
I doubt it.
They I think they'll
BMG
respect
is
them.
kind of put their foot down in the sense that we want to continue working on Brawlhalla because they know it's a good platform that'll eventually blow up. I think
Oh
you and
yeah,
me are just ahead of the curve.
could possibly be.
At least that's what I think. But yeah, I think I mean we're at about 35 minutes. This is a pretty good episode.
I think aside from getting a little off topic from time to time, we kind of got everything said that we wanted to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Seems like a logical place to wrap this up.
Yeah, I say we wrap up this episode of the Ground Crew podcast. I thank everybody for listening and for your continued support. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. I love you.
And thank you to all of our friends who decide that they want to suffer our boring fucking talking
Yeah,
for
right.
30 minutes. We love you. I don't know why you put yourself through that, but thank you for your support. I've been
Be
Brian, the co-host.
I've been Drew, the co-host, because we don't take ownership of these things.
It was kind of a mutual idea, so that's how it's going to stay.
Yeah. All right. Until next time. We'll see you guys.
Much love. Take care, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Yep.